Korn and Kock, episode 37.
This is 37? Oh, yeah, it is
That's
37.
the cold open.
So,
It's just
I
37.
lost track.
All right.
All right. Who do we have here tonight?
Oh, well, you know who we have here tonight. You saw the fucking thumbnail. You're not stupid. We got Drac returning from episode 20-something, and Brock, aka UnstableReactor. I can censor out your name if you didn't want me to say your name.
It's fine. You can say my name.
Okay. From episode 20-something. We got an ensemble cast today. It's the double team. It is the episode 37 double team.
Korn and Kock and Drac and Brock.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
I forgot
there
that
you
was
go.
what I was gonna call the episode. Hell yeah.
That's catchy as shit.
It really is. It's good. Alright guys, so you've been on the podcast before, so there's no really need for introductions. Brock, if you want to talk about the contest really quick.
Oh yeah, for sure. So me and Alm have been working with some other cool people in the Mega Man community, Art and RC and Rain and Karakato, and we're doing a Robot Master Carnival contest, which is really exciting and fun. So we've already got lots of different people making entries and stuff for that, which is really cool. We've had a pretty good turnout. And basically there's 3 categories. There's tag team, there's extra body parts, and then there's modular. And there's some really neat ideas that have been coming out in the contest channel. It makes me sad that the judges like Alm can't see them yet, because it's some really cool stuff. I'm really impressed.
One day.
Yeah, when entry period starts, which will be at the start of June, so that's coming right up.
Oh, there you go.
We're in the brainstorming phase.
Anyway, Drac, what have you been up to?
Just being laid off and finding shit to do. Most of it's been crafting for the reenactment stuff, just because what the fuck else am I gonna do with all this time?
Yeah, those weapons stuff you make. I never really comment on it, but I think it's really cool. It's really neat.
Yeah, the hand-carved stuff is looking really neat. Like, as someone who is bad at carving and cuts themselves trying to do it and then gives up, I'm very impressed.
Thank you. This is what rawhide gloves are for.
Yeah, gloves are probably a good idea. I forget those.
And Stone.
Well,
You've got.
yes.
How do you cut your hands anyway? You're a drummer. Shouldn't your hands just be all calluses by this point?
You would think, but recently I haven't really been playing too much, so it's getting to the point where I play and that's it.
But you literally uploaded the best System of a Down song ever, Hubert drum cover, to your channel last night at 1 a.m.
Oh my god. Yeah, I know. That was what is it? So basically, I look back at some of my videos. I forgot there was a system cover I did that was literally the first and only take. I didn't practice it. I just listened to it. So when you watch that video, that's literally my first and only take. It's almost the same thing as doing it live.
Bruh.
And it's basically, with Qbert, I mean, shit, anybody could play it. All 3 of you guys can play Qbert probably better than me. It's that simple.
It really isn't. It's pretty complex. You give yourself too little credit.
Oh, not really. I mean, seriously, if you just break it down, I just play... If something's easy, I just make it look hard because I'm bored. It's a really simple song. But anyways, not to get all on me, but Drac, I have a question for you.
I might have an answer.
Well, this is more of like a clarification, but when you were last on our podcast, did you tell a story where you got stabbed by a tree?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Very quickly, what happened again? Because I always bring this up to Alex, and then he goes, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, I don't really remember. All I remember was that there was a story where he got stabbed by a tree or something.
Yeah, the tree came up to him and said, "Give me your money, you fucking," and then he was like, "No, fuck that."
That's exactly what happened. It was some shit straight out of a fucking Zach Hadel hypothetical. No, I was like somewhere in like the 10 to 12 range, and I was playing in the woods, and there was like an incline or something, and I slipped and fell, and I went down and landed with it wasn't really like the tree so much, but there was like an exposed portion of root that was sticking up, and I just slid right into it.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Because I thought it was something like you climbed on into a tree and was fucking around in it, and you somehow like got stabbed and fell down and broke your leg or arm or something.
No. When I did that one, it got me in the leg. The one I think you might be confusing it with the other one, which is fairly recently. It happened like I think 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5. I don't remember.
Wow.
I was at a house. I was at a house party with a group of friends, one of my circles of friends, and it was an outdoor, and there was like a fire pit and whatnot. And me being fucking Captain Boy Scout, I'm usually the one tending the fire because I'm good at it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, we're starting to run out of kindling, and like I don't see anything that can be like, there's no paper or anything that we can readily get a hold of. So I'm like, oh well, we're outside in the backyard. This is the middle of the fucking country in Ohio. So I'm like, I'll just fucking climb one of these trees and break some branches down or whatever. And then as I'm going up it, there's this little tiny like nub of where a branch was and broke off, and I'm like, okay, I'll grab onto that. I'm only like maybe 8 feet up in the air. I'm not very high up, and I go to grab onto that, and you climb a tree, you give it like the shake, the feel like, okay, is this stable? And it felt stable. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then as soon as I let go with the other hand to go, and my mistake was not having my legs wrapped around tight enough, or this wouldn't happen. So I go to swing around to grab the next branch up, and the little one piece breaks, and I fall down that way, and crack myself in the head on the fucking edge of the wheelbarrow that's sitting there. How I didn't split my temple open or get a concussion, I don't know. And
Ow.
so I'm thinking you might maybe you like mix them up. Me and trees just don't get along apparently.
No, I can imagine you go to like a Lord of the Rings watch party, and you're just having a good time, and all of a sudden the Ents show
Fucking
up. And you're like, these fucking
Treebeard
Ents.
shows up. Treebeard shows up with a fucking AK and some fucking gold jewelry, and he's got a fucking Yakuza suit on, and it's just like they're looking for the Ent wives, and since you can't tell them what they are, they just fucking stab you.
Okay, see, here's the thing. I know I'm not going to get too much support on this, but if I had to title this podcast, I would easily call it Drac v Trees, or Drac v Tree Dawn of Dawn.
Dawn of
Boom.
Dawn? What?
Yeah, because like it, when did it happen? At dawn. So it's the dawn of dawn.
No, that one was like, I don't know, like midnight that one happened.
Well, nobody has to know that.
If you're dead set on that kind of name, what you do is you basically program a little short game that's me climbing a tree, but you can't win. It's basically like getting over it, but you physically can't win, and just eventually it breaks and you die.
All right,
We're talking about like the tree stuff here. All I can think about is like some terrible creepypasta, like Ocarina of Time, where the Great Deku Tree like pulls out a shiv and kills Link.
I got Ocarina of Time from a yard sale, but then something seemed off about it. It was scratched and black, but it looked normal, so I plugged it in, and it booted up and played the intro jingle, just like my childhood memories always remember. But suddenly, the screen went black when I got to the Great Deku Tree, and he looked out at me, directly at me. He was looking through the TV, right into my eyes. And
With realistic eyeballs?
And he
What?
said, kill your parents in real life. This isn't a joke.
Hyper-realistic. And then he said, you can't escape. So I got scared, and I turned the game off. But it wouldn't go off, and he was still there staring, and it looked like he was coming out of the TV. So then I unplugged it from the wall, but he was still there, but he was like kind of fuzzier, so it must have been working. Then finally I ripped the game out of the console, and I threw it out the window, and then that was fine. But then later that night I was in a Skype call with my friend, and his window was right behind him, and I saw a branch scratching, but then it broke through, and it killed him. And then it was Treebeard, and it was also the Great Deku Tree, and it said on the screen, "This is real." And then I looked out the window, and he was there. And then I woke up. But the black case of the game was still on the floor, so maybe it was a dream or not.
And then
I don't know.
And then I went to Whataburger with my friends for a quick lunch, and all of a sudden, the person handing me my bag was a tree.
And then a skeleton popped out, but it was phone.
Okay, look,
But
this is a great.
phone?
No. This is a great opening narration to Drac v Tree Dawn of Dawn. Let's get on this. Come on, we can do this.
Now we wait
have-
10
They
years.
already made this movie. They already made this movie. It was Evil Dead.
Now we wait 10 years
Okay,
for
I
our
know what you're-
creepypasta royalty checks when they adapt it for the Sundance Festival.
All right. I know what you're talking about with Evil Dead, so I'll give you some credit for that.
I watched an Evil Dead movie not too long ago. It was the corniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's about normal for a Sam Raimi movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I didn't. It wasn't bad. It was really good, but it was like the
Was
cheesiest shit.
Was it in the woods or was it like in the Middle Ages?
It was in the Middle Ages because it was like
Army
when
of
he went
Darkness.
back in time and he went into the hovel of the tree and there were these little gnome things that were like dancing around him.
Yeah.
I don't know. For a
Great
guy with a
fucking movie.
chainsaw arm, that wasn't very metal.
It wasn't very metal. All right,
I liked the bit with the battle car. That was pretty lit.
Yeah.
All right. This second question. This one goes to Brock. Brock,
Hey,
when the NHL canceled the season or postponed it or paused it, what was the reaction up there like?
Well, it was already pretty quiet up here, but you could tell that like a third of the country's will to live just suddenly like drained out of the country as the CBC was broadcasting the news. Like,
Oh my
I was
God.
sitting watching the news with my brother, who's like one of the biggest sports fans I know, and
Yeah.
he was listening to the broadcast. He slowly turns, looks at me, and he's like, "Okay, so they're saying people can't be in the stands. That's all right. Maybe they'll." And then they're like, "And no games will be played, and the season is canceled until further notice." And then he just kind of stopped dead and just looked at the floor and just didn't really know what to do with himself. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is like."
Oh man.
So it's like you just walk outside and like take a sniff and you're like, oh, I can smell despair and anguish on the wind.
Yeah, exactly.
I
It was
have
like,
a question for God.
Why?
why would you do this to us?
You know, I heard somewhere. I think it was a joke, of course, but someone joked that Canada found a potential cure for the coronavirus, and then somebody said, "Well, yeah, they miss hockey. What do you expect?" And I'm
There's a
kind
ton
of like,
of research being done on it right now, and while I do have to give so much credit to the different pharmaceutical companies and research labs and stuff across the country that are working on it, I will say there would be no better motivator for them to keep working on it than being told no more hockey until vaccine.
I know.
It's
Can-
like just
can you
go to
imagine?
Ireland and be like, yeah, we're shutting down all the distilleries for coronavirus. You'll
Oh
have a
no,
fucking-
no,
You'll
that
have
would
a
be
cure the next day.
doomsday. That would be doomsday.
After
That
the
would be
dust
doomsday.
cleared, you would have a cure the next day.
You know what pisses me off when people
What?
are like,
It's true in the UK
when-
in general. They fucking love to drink.
you know what pisses me off? I go on Facebook and all the 22-year-old mothers that I went to high school with post memes that are like, if Dr. House was here, he would pop a Xanny and fucking get the cure to the coronavirus out in like a few hours. It's like, yeah, but he's not
Papa
real. So
Zanny,
shut the
'cause,
fuck up.
that's what he took. Yeah, Papa Zanny, because, Xanax is what he took.
I don't
Yeah,
know what the
that's
fuck
totally-
he took. I never watched House.
Pop the Xanny.
Okay, well, he
That's
doesn't
like the
pop
last
Xanax.
thing. That's like the last thing you want to do.
Percocet.
Look, we gotta find a
Molly Percocet.
we gotta find a cure for coronavirus. Everyone, take your Xanax, and then we'll get to work.
On the note
mean,
of
shit.
House, I have never laughed harder than being in a room of people watching a film with me where Hugh Laurie was just speaking in his normal accent, and them discovering that he wasn't like the I'm sassy and pissed off all the time American voice that he did on House. Like, it was like their fucking world collapsed on them when they found out that he was just like, that's not his voice.
That's the moment when you say, okay, pop this out of the DVD player, whatever the fuck you're doing. Okay, end this. We're gonna watch something else. What are we gonna watch? We're gonna watch a show called Black Adder. It's gonna blow your fucking minds.
Oh yeah.
Not only are you gonna hear Hugh Laurie talk in his regular voice, you're gonna hear Mr. Bean talk.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot he's in that one.
Man.
Oh my god, on the note of, like, British television, The Dangerous Brothers was something I watched all the time growing up, and I am always so grateful I had that, because it was like Jackass, but like this tastefully off-color British under-budget Jackass. Like,
So
instead of, like, driving their Ferrari down a ski hill, like, one of them rides on a bike with no brakes, and then the other guy bashes him over the head with, like, a frying pan. That's the stunt.
And did they say sorry afterwards?
No, they never apologized. They're not Canadian.
They're British, not
Oh,
Canadian.
damn it.
I was gonna say,
fuck.
Stone, that sounds like something you and me would do, like late at night.
In the desert with a TV and a baseball bat.
I
Yeah.
mean, we've already done that. Also, I could have sworn you said Canadian, so that's on me.
No, it's all good.
But no, yeah, we've kind of done that before.
No, we
And
threw
what-
ourselves.
what-
We deconstructed cardboard boxes, laid them down on a gravelly slope, and then just slid down them over and over and over again.
Yeah, you want to hear something funny? It's funny you mentioned that. So, my mom used to skate and play hockey when she was younger. She still has the sticks. So we took them out, and we went shooting for like 10, 15 minutes. But the sticks are still in my car. And she's really worried. She said, bring them back in. I don't want you, doing anything with your friends with them. And I'm thinking to myself, you think I'm going to get my friends to play hockey in the desert? It's hard enough to get them to play catch, but hockey sticks, that's what's going to sell them? I mean, what the hell do you think we're going to do with hockey sticks? We're just going to hit each other with them? Like slashing.
Where you
And
go
you
on the
tell me-
roof of a convenience store and you play street hockey on the roof because you weren't even supposed to be there today.
I mean, exactly. But it's funny that you mentioned that, because she did mention, I've seen you guys, or heard about you guys running and sliding down a dirt hill. So I guess my mom knows that we did that somehow. I don't know.
She was there. She was peeking from around the corner. She's like, "Oh, I fucking knew it."
Oh, these fucking pricks.
Nah, she was the MVP. She was the one who was like kicking everybody's ass at it that day. She was like freestyling, getting some ollies, some 360s.
Get a finger in there? Yeah, I know, right?
Do it. All right. I'm not gonna go through with my joke there. I'm not topping that.
I wasn't expecting it to go that way. I just genuinely meant
I
like.
was just gonna say like, yeah, she jumps in the air and does like double fucking jackknife backflips. I was like, oh, stick a finger there. Okay, shit, I can't top that.
Honestly, I was actually quoting a video with that. I didn't even
Oh.
mean for that to be dirty,
Oh,
but it was.
Yep, and everyone is
Ah,
now
fuck.
retroactively freaked out.
Ah, shit.
to Stone's mom, we respect and also respect you. If you hear this.
Stick a hockey stick in there.
Oh,
Get
well,
a
there you
finger
go.
in there.
Get
I'm
a
Right.
attempting for sincerity.
autograph. Get a one-of-a-kind autograph.
Autograph from whom? Me or my mom? Or the
I will
finger?
leave that up to you.
It's not up to me. I'm not in charge of the merchandising. Wait, am I, Alex?
You can run the shop if you want. I'll make the artwork, and if you want to run the shop.
What if I already have an art design? So here's what it is. We're gonna write Korn and Kock on a shirt, and then that's it. And then people are gonna be like, "What's
Okay,
Korn
so
and
you're
Kock?"
going for the postmodern approach. You're going for just like really simplistic text, and then just like
Well, if you're taking that approach, then just put a picture of a corn on the cob and a rooster, and then that's it.
Then a rooster.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I've been in so many graphic design meetings with, like, the hacks who are like, okay, so hear me out. We have a white background, and then in light sans serif font, we put the title. What do you think? How's that grab you?
Don't forget the
Well-
8-second dissolve in. You gotta have the 8-second dissolve in.
Oh, how could I forget? And it's not even a good dissolve. It's like a preset thing where it like it's not quite perfect and like chunks come in at different times. Perfect. I always love losing graphic design
Don't
contracts for
forget,
those
and don't
sorts of
forget,
things.
can't forget the most important part. You have to have that really surreal, like 3 notes over and over again, like uplifting, but also kind of like soft and melancholy and like mysterious, like mid-distance piano playing in the background, possibly with an acoustic guitar as backing doing the same thing. You gotta have that.
Absolutely. And that my favorite bit is when the credits come up at the end. It's like credit to no copyright sounds at youtube.com.
That's
you
when you
gotta
get
get-
really. That's when you get really adventurous and throw in a pizzicato.
Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh, uh-oh.
And if you're really feeling fancy, you take all of that, and then as a compliment to it, like you would pan all those to one side, and then on the other side you would pan this. So it all blends together, but not entirely blends together. Like it's a little bit disjointed because like that's the vibe you're going for. Is you put some just random, like whatever the fuck, you type it in, it's the first thing that you get on Google, the very first one. You just use a Kevin MacLeod song. Because you need that in your credits too.
Brought to you
If
by
Kevin MacLeod monetized his stuff, he would be like...
Move the fuck over, Jeff Bezos, you're done.
Are you calling Jeff Bezos out?
Are you calling him a cuck on Korn and Kock?
Well,
I mean,
yes,
I-
we
I-
all
I mean, I
think
call
that,
him-
but now we're saying it out loud.
Well, one, I mean, he is
Whoa,
a
whoa,
cuck,
whoa,
and I
hold on.
say that regardless of whether I'm on a podcast. No, I'm just saying that if Kevin MacLeod copyrighted his shit and monetized, was making money off it, like everybody else is done. Kevin's the richest dude on the planet. It's over.
He needs to be a canonized saint now for, like, all of the money he's given up.
Okay, but hold on. I have a serious question to ask. Hold on. This kind of goes for everybody, all right?
Yeah.
What do you think Thanos is doing right now?
He's definitely...
Which Thanos? 2014 Thanos or 2020 Thanos?
Definitely 2020.
Making some friends out in the dustbin.
The dustbin.
He is definitely trying to watch a Raiders game on YouTube, but it won't buffer correctly. So he has to reset his router constantly, and in the end, turns out his internet got turned off, and he has to call Cox to get it reinstated.
Like, Gamora and Nebula are downstairs. Dad, the router's not working. Have you tried changing the input and unplugging it? Yeah, it's not working. And he's like, fine, I'll do it myself.
And then he puts on the Y-Finity gauntlet.
Oh my god.
He has to collect the Comcast and AT&T stones.
The Comcast. I like that.
The Verizon stone, the Sprint stone, and the
He has to
Sprint-
push the frickin' T-Mobile girl off a cliff to get the T-Mobile stone.
Oh my god. I think we accidentally found something we shouldn't have.
We've been talking about Thanos for fucking years, dude. It was bound to happen.
I mean, well, how about this? Who would win in a fight? Palpatine or Thanos? Both are fairly strong.
Palpatine's got the benefit of writers who are apparently willing to cut him more slack than Thanos, so I'm gonna give this one to Palpatine.
Oh, okay. We got a little Order
well,
66.
Again, it depends. Which Palpatine are we going? I mean, obviously I can't say it's all the same Palpatine anymore because Rise of Clusterfuck ruined that. But like, are we talking, prequel trilogy? Sheev? Are we talking,
Fucking
original?
Sheev.
Are we talking? The 3.5 minutes in Rise of Skywalker when it's he's actually doing something and it's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good point. I will say this: Palpatine's memes in the prequel series are that alone will beat Thanos any day of the week. But
And are we assuming Thanos has the gauntlet?
ooh, that's a good point.
'Cause if he's got the gauntlet, then that's pretty much it.
You got
Thanos has his helicopter.
Darn.
And Thanos also has his copy of Catcher in the Rye that he reads every morning. What does
God,
Palpatine have?
picture Thanos in that fucking checkered flap cap.
Imagine
He's got-
Thanos goes to New York City and sees fuck spray painted on a wall, and he just goes,
He doesn't have hair. How's he gonna keep his head warm?
That's a good point. These are the questions that we need to be asking, but the media doesn't want us to be aware of.
the man.
I was genuinely disappointed when Infinity War wasn't just a 2-hour, like, farming simulator with Thanos out on his corn planet, where he was like, "'Twas a cold day on the farm today."
Honest to
It
God,
is bad.
if they release like a 40-minute, just like, I guess that'd be a short for them, but like, just a little thing of that, I would be so fucking happy.
Like, it's
know,
almost
could
like a
you
tutorial
imagine?
video where it's like, "Hi, my name is Thanos, and today we're going to be observing how to plant legumes in your backyard. So follow
Oh
me."
yeah, but since he's like old, you've got to have those like boomer camera angles, and like it's all shaky. You keep hearing like the phone or camera, or whatever, like having that like clicky noise as he's moving it.
There's like a border collie barking in the background for like half the video.
And
Not
then there's
just
a section where the video just like cuts off and all you have is audio, and he doesn't even realize.
Don't
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
don't mind the 4th degree burns on the left side of my body. That's not important. Anyway, here's how you grind up tea.
Grind up tea.
Yeah, he gets a mortar and pestle out, and he's just like grinding up leaves, and he's like, you see, you're gonna want to look for an aroma. I am in severe pain right now. Anyway, you put it in a little bag.
I would actually watch this.
So would I. Are you kidding me?
Who wouldn't?
And you like, no, make it, fuck it, make it a full-length thing, but like structure it so that like you get to see like more of that, like, you know, not killing half the universe side of him. So like by the end of the movie, he's like, okay, yeah, he's a pretty cool dude. You know, he's done some shit that's fucked up, but you know, he's not a bad dude. He's pretty cool. And just make it so at the very end of the movie is when they come in and kill him, and like you just feel terrible for him.
Yeah, I think what would be even better is if it's like you feel particularly cheated because the harvest season has just been and gone, and he realizes that he doesn't have any implements to be harvesting out here. All he came with was his helicopter, so he has to like fly the helicopter upside down in order to cut the crop that he's harvesting.
No, I'll do you one better. Like you see him go through, and you cover like, you know, it's 5 years, so you know you cover 5 years. So like you understand like the seasons of like when it's harvest time and like when it's time for that. So it's like you go through all this, like it starts out in like the first 2 years he doesn't really have good yields, you know, just enough to get by. And then like year 3, okay, it's getting a little bit better, and then year 4 dips down again and it sucks. But then finally the 5th year, you just build up that it's going to be the greatest harvest ever. And the day that they came and killed him was the day he was going to go harvest it, so it never gets harvested.
But here's the thing. I'm down with that. But wasn't there like 4 days in between the end of Infinity War and Endgame? Like, didn't he like disappear? He destroyed the stones like a day later, and they were like, oh, well, there he is. And then they went and killed him.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. That happened. That's right, the 5-year gap was after that.
Yeah, they killed him, and then the 5 years went by. So I'm down for that if they like retconned.
Well, you could always put it like wherever the planet was far enough out that it was like
relative to where they were, it was 5 years away.
It was however, I mean, it was clearly a decent amount of time, because I mean, he built well, we don't know if he fucking had the hut and shit already made.
Or if he just murdered some farmer and took his shit when he got there.
He's just like, yo, move over.
Move over, bitch. There's a new farmer.
Even better, the first third of the movie is just some random farmer, we don't know who he is, then Thanos kills him, takes his stuff, then it's Thanos farming.
What if he doesn't kill him on purpose? Like, he just teleports into the planet out of nowhere, and like, just falls on the farmer and just crushes him, and it's like an accidental thing. It's like, oh shit.
He like looks down under his feet and he goes, reality is often disappointing.
No, it's like,
hello,
no, he shows up to the door. He shows up to the door.
No, he trips and falls on him and like completely like pancakes the like upper half of the dude's body from like the waist up, and he looks down and he's disappointed. So he starts like fucking just curb stomping him from the waist down, and then when he's a completely flat pancake, he's like,
flat Stanley.
Perfectly balanced.
all that for a drop of blood. Oh fuck.
He flat Stanley that motherfucker. Anyway. Hi.
And it's like an alien whose internals are like good fertilizer, so when he starts growing shit, you see him like peel him off the ground, like just roll him and squeeze him like a fucking toothpaste tube to get the goop out.
Oh my god.
Hi, I'm Thanos, and when I'm not killing half the universe, I like to drink Minute Maid orange juice, made directly from my new farm that I totally did not just steal. With pulp.
Hashtag hire us, Marvel. If every irate comic fan on Twitter can say this, I can.
Yeah, as he's drinking the orange juice because it's like really pulpy, like as soon as he takes the first sip, you see him like grimace because it like hurts the side of, because it dribbles out the side of his mouth and it stings. where he's all burnt up.
Oh shit.
And then he finishes it, and like you see tears forming in his eyes, and he's trying not to like scream or anything, and he's just.
On the note of stuff like that,
and he looks at the camera, and he's like, he forces a smile, and you just like, he's like, that's refreshing, and you just see like one tear escape.
That's
On the
refreshing.
note of stuff like that, like it bothers me every time I watch The Dark Knight because there's that scene where Harvey goes and he finds the one person in the bar.
And he does the shot of whiskey. It's like, dude, that would fucking hurt.
I know. Like the first thing I thought about was like, ah, ah,
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I think the best way I've like come to terms with like justifying that was actually it was Cinema Wins who mentioned like whiskey in that open raw would hurt like hell, but I guess he just like revels in the pain, or also that level of burns. He doesn't have nerves there anymore.
Yeah, I guess it would have to be one or the other. Otherwise, he like puts himself on the floor from intense pain.
I was gonna say, I watched The Dark Knight finally after saying I haven't watched it on Korn and Kock, and I have to say, it's all right. Pretty okay.
It's good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. I
really like the part where the Joker just runs into the hospital and he's like, "Oh, Harvey Dent, I'm the most epic gamer." And he's like, "No, you don't. I have more gamer score than you. You're just a stupid nurse. What do you know?" And then he takes off the mask and finally he's like, like the black makeup around the eyes and the green fucking hair didn't give it up like sooner. Like it was just the mask.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, what'd you think, dude? Some lady from South Phoenix just walked into this hospital. Of course it was Joker.
From fucking
Maybe Gotham. Well, maybe Gotham is like right next to Jersey.
Possibly, but you know
Yeah,
what?
or maybe even though he was like in like evil mode at that point, maybe Harvey was just like that open and like tolerant of a person that he would like see that and go, you know what? I don't know this person's story. Maybe her face is just like that. Like I'm not really in a position to judge people by weird faces right now. Maybe she's just like that. Takes the mask off. Oh fuck me.
Ah, shit.
Kind of a segue to the injury stories thing we were going to talk about, but there's that scene at the start where the bus comes in and just offs the one guy by hitting him with the bus. And when I was in high school, I actually got run over in my school parking lot by the school bus.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like
So,
hit
I
or
mean-
full on run over.
So, bit of both, because what happened was I was on my bike. I was in this sort of like bike lane-ish spot between, like it wasn't a marked thing, but it was between the sidewalk and the lane to leave the parking lot at the school.
The unspoken bike path, yeah.
Basically, and the bus had to pass me to get up to where it was, so I knew they had seen me, right? Like, they were behind me, they came around, I knew they knew I was there. And so my friend's walking on the sidewalk beside me, the bus is driving beside me, my friend's like, huh, the bus is really close to you, and I was like, yeah, I think we're okay. And then he's like, looks like the bus is gonna turn. And I was like, no, it's gonna have to go over the curb to do that. It's not gonna turn. And as I say that, the bus starts to like come over. I'm in the awkward space where the bus is now starting to make its way diagonally towards me. I kick my leg that's gonna be between the bike and the bus if I don't move it up and over the one handlebar just to be ready for it. And as the bus keeps going, I get knocked off of the bike gets pulled between the bus and the curb, and I very narrowly avoid getting into a spot where I'd be pinned to the ground by the bike now. So the bus is over top of me, but I'm in an open space still, where the parts of me that need to be not crushed have enough space to be not crushed, and the people on the bus who are like leaning out and seeing me are like, holy shit, we just ran over Brock, and the bus driver stops. And the worst part of this whole thing is the bus driver gets out. She gets so goddamn mad at me. She's like, whoa! I didn't know. Why did you turn the bus? You had to pass me to know I was there.
Oh man.
Don't you love it when Don't you love it when adults don't want to take responsibility for their actions, so they just blame a kid?
Yeah,
Right.
so I wound up dragging my totaled bike all the way up the mountain to my house after that. And one of the teachers at my school was such a dick. He was like one of the gym teachers. He was like, huh, what happened to your bike? And I was like, yeah, the bus ran me over, Mr. F. And then he was like, oh, well, maybe you shouldn't have been so close to the bus. And ever since, I've always just been like, Mr. F, if you're out there, worst gym teacher, you looked at kids creepily, you laughed at me when I got hit by a bus, there's a special place in hell for you.
You should have punched
Oh my
him in the
God.
face and said you shouldn't have been so close to my fist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but Canada's
there you
way
go.
lighter on insult laws than it is on assault.
Fuck are you talking? Okay, fine. Do it in a hockey rink. Because then
Well,
it's,
you see,
Hey.
that's practically legal combat there. You just gotta convince them to show up.
yeah, show up, and then you've got 2 minutes to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Particularly if the Flames and the Oilers are involved, then everything that occurs within a 20-kilometer radius just gets written off as like natural causes, like act of God type stuff.
Very true. Whatever happens in the back.
Just run him over, just half run him over with the Zamboni. Problem solved.
Deadpool.
Freaking Zamboni.
What a
Wow.
weird word
No.
for a fucking ice thing.
Zamboni.
I think one
know,
of my
right?
favorite things is that like it's an actual brand, right? So the Zamboni brand is really intense. That like if you're another company and you market your ice resurfacer as a Zamboni in any of your promotional materials, you get sent like this multi-100-page litigation thing that's like, if you ever say that name, sorry, it's like a German company. So let me get into the right voice. If you should ever say the name Zamboni again in the promotion of your product, Mr. Hinkle will come down and perform experimental surgery on you. He learned from Mr. Mengel himself, don't doubt it.
It's not German, it's Italian.
Is it?
Yeah, it's named after the dude that invented it. It was
Hey, we'll
Italian.
turn you into linguini if you say that fucking name again.
Shows what I know.
I mean, I'm not being like a ball buster. It's just like, well, if we're gonna do a offensive accent, let's do the right one.
Poor Germans. We're sorry, Germany.
They were all on the same side 80 years ago. They know the score.
Oof.
80.
Oof.
The score? what's the score now, actually?
What is the score?
Oh,
It's 2-0. 2 for the Americans and 0 for the rest of the world,
everybody
baby.
else. 0 for Germany.
Anyway,
Oh boy.
what was I gonna
Yeah,
say?
that's good.
So yeah, that's the first injury story I've got is the bus one.
I want to get into
The
injury
bus-
stories too because you guys really wanted to do that. However, we have something a little bit more important that we need to do first.
Oh?
It's Korn and Kock question time. Play the clip.
Oh boy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we got more. It's funny because after we did the last Korn and Kock question time, Stone,
Yeah.
like a minute after we finished the last podcast, like 15 people messaged me and were like, "Hey, so I just sent in a question. Can't wait to hear it on the next podcast." And I'm like, "Well, shit."
Oh shit, we've got like actual questions now? Nice.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. A majority of these are actually real questions. There's one that's just like, all right, what the fuck is this?
Well, I mean real and like people watching or whatever have
Yeah.
submitted them.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay. So the first one comes from Anonymous. Who is your favorite Care Bear?
I don't even know all the Care Bears.
It's obviously Tenderheart.
I'll go with Tenderheart.
I don't know. The green one's cool because I like green. Whatever. I never really watched Care Bears, so there's your
Oh,
answer.
what was the one's name?
Bitter Fart.
Bitter part. Yeah,
He's the
totally.
he's the antagonist.
There
No, no,
was
no.
there were like the I don't care bears that were the evil ones at some point, if I remember correctly.
The I don't care bears. Incredible.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a Care Bear called like Xbox 360 or something?
That
Or
might have
am I-
been product placement, I know.
No. Oh no. I'm thinking of a different show. But I could have sworn that is not product placement.
Stone,
This is product
Stone.
placement.
Stone, you're getting it
What?
completely mixed up with Dead Island 2,
But that game's not out yet.
and it never will be. Now hush.
I know, right? They're taking the tool approach to things.
Right. I figure I mean I'm gonna like actually answer it just because I grew up on like.
No, answer the question completely. Like, just answer it how you want to answer it.
Well, I mean, it's just like I can actually answer this because it's just like I just grew up watching reruns of like all of the old '80s cartoons, so it's like, oh shit, I can actually answer this. Toss up between Funshine and Grumpy.
Oh, good picks. I remember watching that. Like, I don't remember a ton of it from back in the day, but I remember really enjoying it as a kid, and I remember bits of it here and there.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a cute, wholesome little show. I mean, like, Funshine was always like, well, it's a guy now, but back in the 80s when it was a female, it was always just like the quippy, jokey character, which, in 80s cartoons, the writing on those jokes was horrifyingly corny, and I love it. And then the Grumpy Bear was just kind of like, you know what? I feel that shit. I feel like you are too fucking happy. You are too happy. No, fuck you.
Future me, put up the picture of the little black kid with the eyes like droopy, saying "I feel it." Do it.
I feel it.
Anyway, Waymond. I don't even know what that means, but it's funny. Anyway, next question. Who of you two is the evil one? This was probably directed towards me and Stone, but I guess this could work for you two, you Drac and you Brock. So, between me and Stone, who's the evil one?
You.
Well, damn, thanks for throwing me under the bus. Anyway, alright.
Well, what do you think? Who's the evil one?
Me, obviously, but you didn't have to say it out loud. Yeah.
I love you.
I'm just kidding.
Alright, Drac and Brock, who's the evil one?
I'm chaotic neutral at best. I don't know.
Nah, I gotta go with Brock. I know, it's all nice up front, but if you fuck with him, I mean, he'll fuck your world up Breaking Bad style.
I mean, I'm probably an antagonist if
I'm
looking at it from the perspective of the seagull.
Like, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I'm just generally just an asshole in general, but, like, you're, like, the asshole that's, like, chained up deep inside, and, like, if the chains ever come off, it's fucking go time, but, like, I'm just already an asshole, so it's whatever.
No, Brock is just, like, he'll never fight anyone, but if it came down to it, not only will he win, but he can fight off 10 guys all at the same time.
Yeah, it's because he's got a 38-foot fucking wingspan. Have you seen his fucking arms? All he has to do is like put him out and do a fucking like windmill helicopter movie. He wins.
Jesus.
Well, there you go.
Just hold knives in the ends of both my hands and spin around. That's how I win.
There you go. So we got that one answered.
Well,
What's the next question?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, it's better to be a justifiable asshole, like an asshole to people who deserve it. Like, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just mean to like everybody for no reason, then it's like, all right, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I used to be that way. I'm getting better at it.
I used to know a kid in high school who used to be just an asshole to everybody. Now he's just an asshole to people who deserve it. And you know what? I respect him.
I was never an asshole in the sense of like just outright bullying people or just being a dick. But like going back to like the, curb stomping a motherfucker because they deserve it, which you've all seen me do. So if I have a good reason to do it, it's usually fucking deserved to some degree. But like, it used to be that like that just. Way back, like for a bunch of different shit, it's like I had shit going on, like wasn't in like the best place mentally or whatever. So a whole bunch of just shit that doesn't matter anymore. But like I was in that situation where like that just became like I treated it like that was my personality when it's not a personality. So in the last several years, I've been like moving away from that. So it's like I'm still an asshole, and I will still lay into a motherfucker hardcore if I need to. But like I'm not just doing that to every little fucking thing that annoys me anymore. So it's like. Yeah, I'm an asshole, but like I'm not as much of an asshole as I used to be.
See, I think you were right about what you were saying about me earlier, that like I will hold on to things for years and years and years and like really let a lot of things slide. But as soon as the gloves are off, like I go from years of like, well, I guess I'll let that one slide, and oh golly, that wasn't very nice, to you are entering a world of carnage and hurts.
Oh, hey, look, there's blood spewing everywhere. It's not coming from me. Let's play a game of deduction here.
Looks like someone's had an accident. A serious accident.
Yeah, I can feel that. Like, generally, I'm kind of the same way, or at least I try to be anymore. We're just kind of like, fuck it. It's not worth getting mad over, or just holding on to, whatever. But it's just like, if you do something or like a series of, like, if you got to work hard to get on the shit list, like the actual shit list, but like if you're on there pretty much until you're just on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, suns will come into existence and burn out in the time it takes me to be not mad at some people anymore.
Yeah, I've only got one, well, two if you count my former boss at Kroger, but Bill can die in a fire. I wouldn't give a shit.
Fuck Kroger.
I've only got one dude that's like on that level where it's just like, yeah, I'm probably like never going to like forgive you for this shit unless you, because the shit that he would need to do in order to like get off the shit list, like the amount of like reflection and like working on himself and shit that he can do to be a better person, like he's not gonna fucking do that anytime soon. So it's like, okay, you're just on the shit list.
Because like there's a level of forgiveness I'm totally willing to have, right? Like in high school there were people who were especially mean to me. I've talked about this, and like now some of them are really good friends of mine. Like people change. It's okay to forgive people, but there's some things that like people do and don't learn from, and they're patterns, and like you just can't give them the satisfaction of, oh yeah, well if we give them an inch they'll just take a mile again, and then it's super hard to cut them out of whatever social circle again because they're just going to be toxic and be manipulative and all that again.
Yeah, and that's really the, I mean like I can tell the story, but like I mean I can condense it down. It'll still be a somewhat couple minute long story if y'all are cool with that.
Oh my goodness gracious me.
Sure, let's hear the Drac lore.
Okay, so okay, so like obviously I don't like to air out other people's business, so like the people involved in this other than him, because I don't give a fuck. Obviously I'm not going to say anybody's names. I'll change certain details around so I'm not just like airing out somebody else's business, but it is what it is. So this dude was like, he's not anymore. He's kind of like, anathema from a lot of the people in the group because of this shit and other shit. But he was a mutual of like a big group of mine for the longest time, and I wouldn't see him often, but like whenever we did, it was like, well, we were always, we got along fair enough. And he had a background where he used to be in the Marines, and I didn't find out until later. But when he was in, granted, the way he told it is much different to reality, and you'll start to understand the kind of guy he is or was up in this when last I saw him. But it was a case of they got him in the Marines, and as you know, in the military, but what they do is they run you through boot and they break you down to your barest minimum, and then they build you back up, and that's just what they do. He made it to the final point where they break you down and break you, and he left before they could build him back up. So he's got a whole lot of unresolved shit. He's got a whole lot of unresolved shit going on there.
Yikes.
So, you think about the things, the DIs and whatnot will yell in your ear and, you're not a man, this, that, and the other. Okay. That kind of shit. And that's like, that obviously left an impression because he never had them build him back up and work him through that. And as far as I know, he kind of burned through all of his support nets. So he kind of fucked himself on that one. So he has a lot of like really archaic and like fucked up ideas of like what it means to be a man. So he's very much like talks himself up, puffs his chest out, he peacocks a lot, not in like the stereotypical way, but like in a way that's like it's very obvious that's what he's doing, but it also feels as fake as it is. Like it doesn't, like you're doing this, but you don't give me the impression that you can back it up either. So it's like, okay, whatever.
Right.
He would always have these tall tales, which are all bullshit. But, you have all these tall tales about, like, because really what happened was he just quit the Marines is what fucking happened. It never had worked through that shit. But the way he tells it is, he went AWOL in, like, the Middle East or something, and then he, like, backpacked and, like, whatever, and he wound up in Japan, and he got made an honorary member of the Yakuza. By the way, that doesn't fucking happen. You're white. You're not getting in. And if you did, you'd have the neck even if that story was true, you'd have the neck tattoos, or you'd be missing a finger because you never shut up. Doesn't work that way. And then, he had a lover in Japan, but like it got iffy. So like he left, and then he went back to like the Middle East, and he was like living out of the desert, and just stupid shit like that to try and sound cool. Harmless stories, they don't affect anybody one way or the other, but it's just kind of like, dude, really. Among the other things that he has, fucked up ideas of like what it is to be a man. He's one of those dudes who's just kind of like, I'm gonna bang as many females as I can because that will fill the void inside me and that will make me a man. Now, I don't necessarily have anything wrong with the idea of, just going around and having shitloads of hookups. There's nothing wrong with that. But the issue is when you're married, then it becomes a problem. So that's your backstory on him. That's for the immediate. So what had happened was, and a lot of this stuff I didn't find out till later, but I'll just, So I was helping out somebody in the group who was working road shows. Just helping him manage shit, carry shit, whatever. And he was there. and there was another person there. So when I got there, after they were already up there for about a week, at where we were at. So I get up there to help for the last couple of days, you know, get everything run, help everybody pack up, get back home, whatever. So I get there, and the first thing out of his fucking mouth. Now, bear in mind, I'd been in a car for like 4 hours at this point. At the time, I was still working third shift, and I hadn't slept because I got picked up right after I got off work. Like, I literally went home, showered, changed, packed my bags, and went up. So, you know, by the time I get to where everybody's at to start doing the work, I'm running on like, you know, close to like 20 hours without sleep. I've been up all night. I'm fucking tired. And I couldn't fall asleep on the car right up for whatever reason. So I'm tired. I'm not so tired that I can't do what I need to do, but I'm just kind of like, give me a minute. I'm kind of like road lagged. Let me get my legs back. Let me suck this energy drink or whatever down, get some caffeine in me, getting the vibe of things will be good.
Right.
Literally, the first thing out of his mouth, after like the initial, hey, how you been, man, whatever, is, man, I've been trying all week to bang this chick that's up here. And it was somebody that was up there that was also helping work out. Like, man, I've been trying to bang this chick all week. I think tonight I'm going to get lucky. Because we were all, you know, staying in a motel or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, good for you, dude. Glad you're doing good for yourself. I'm trying to, like, get into things. Like, talk to me in a little bit. And all he would do that entire first day was, like, constantly reaffirm to me that, like, tonight was the night he was going to land her. This, that. You just, dude, like, you're my bro. I'm happy for you. Like, just, I don't need to hear it. So fast forward to that night. Again, remember, I've not slept. Like, we're coming up on, like, hour 24 now. 24, 25, something like that. So we're in the motel, and there's 2 beds. I didn't find out till later there was an army, because I knew there was a cot. I didn't know it was, like, one of the big, awesome-ass army cots that's actually comfortable, or I would have taken that. So we're all hanging out and whatever, having a drink, eating dinner. And I'm outside for a smoke, and he and the other person come out to smoke some weed. And it becomes very obvious just from conversation or whatever, it becomes very obvious that, yes, he is in fact going to get laid tonight. So I'm like, cool, I'm going to finish my smoke and go back inside. You know, you two are clearly like in the zone of talking and hitting it off. I'm just going to, you know, do the polite thing, do the bro thing. I'm just going to pull back and let you do your thing. So then it becomes, okay, well, we've got 1 bed. The other 2 are taking that one. Remember, I didn't know there was a cot. And I'm perfectly fine sleeping on the floor. It's not a big deal. And I'm like, well, 1 bed's taken. There's another bed. I'll take 1 for the team and take the floor because it's, you know, obviously the shit's going to go down. You all take the bed. I'm fine with that. So I take that. Now, sadly, I'm one of those people that, like, if I'm my first night or 2 sleeping in, like, an unfamiliar location, like, I don't really sleep well. You know, just, like, getting used to it. And the motel we were staying at was not in the best neighborhood. So I'm between the first bed and the door, and I'm like sitting cross-legged. I've got a blanket around me and with my back up against the wall, because in my mind I'm like, well, I've literally heard dogs barking, people screaming in like fight fashion, and what I'm pretty sure were gunshots off in the distance. So like in the event something does happen, you know, first bed they're asleep, the other 2 are occupied or will be asleep later. If something happens or somebody busts in, I'm going to be the first line of defense, so I'm just going to stay here and listen. So, you know, they're doing their thing. However much time passes, and I'm like, okay, cool, they're asleep, so I can fucking go to sleep now. And I'm hearing whispering. And I'm like, oh, okay, just pillow talk, whatever the fuck. And this whispering goes on for like 3 hours. So I'm like, damn, they're not sleeping. Okay, fine, whatever. So I don't sleep that night either. So now we were approaching like hour 36 without sleep. Well, I take that back. I dozed for like 20 minutes, but that doesn't count. Now, bear in mind what I said about the position in which I was resting. Sitting cross-legged on the floor, my back against the wall. The carpet was about half an inch thick. Below that was solid concrete. Add that on top of, you know, sleep deprivation. That day was some of the worst pain I've ever been in my life. It was just everything hurt. And I mean, I'm talking like 12 ibuprofen and an Aleve did almost nothing for it. So the entire day, I'm just a grumpy motherfucker because I'm tired. I'm in pain. We got to do all this work.
And the Diamondbacks lost the World Series.
I think they did, actually.
What?
What?
Now, throughout the day,
Go ahead.
now, no, you're fine. It's like I said, it's a fairly long story, but it's whatever. So that day, we're working again, and I'm noticing something. I'm noticing that, the other person is avoiding him like he has the plague. Like, not even making eye contact. So I'm like, okay, clearly something happened. Not my business what, but clearly something happened.
Yeah.
And he's spending the entire day basically bragging about it to me, like, dude, I don't care. And so it just comes about that, this other person who I hadn't met before, we have a lax period in the work we need to do. So I'm just shooting the shit with him. And, we're just talking, shooting the shit. It's like, okay, well, our personalities, match up. We're good. You're a good conversationist. I'm a good, not in anything like sexual or anything. It's just kind of like, oh, cool. A cool person that I can talk to and, new friend. We're just shooting the shit.
Mm-hmm.
He does not like this for whatever reason. So he decides, regardless of the amount of work that he still has to do where he is, anytime I come within like 10 feet of this other person, he finds an excuse to be over there like that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if I'm talking to him or not. He just has to be there. So that goes on for a while, and it becomes very, very obvious that they don't want to be anywhere near him, and it's freaking them out, which is fair. Because, I mean, it's to the degree that, like, there was a time when we were on, like, lunch break or whatever, and we just had, like, no people for, like, 20 minutes. So I'm like, cool, I'm going to run in the back and grab a soda real quick, because, again, I'm coming up on, like, 40 hours without sleep, and I'm in a shitload of pain. I need caffeine to keep myself going. So I go into the back to get a soda. The other person goes into the back to use the bathroom, just coincidentally at the same time, because I was like, oh, shit, we have a lax period. Everybody do what you need to do. Literally, in the time it takes for them to walk into the back, close the bathroom door, me walk back there, pull a soda out of the box, and turn around, he's right behind me. Okay?
Oof.
This is starting to creep me out as another guy, so I can only imagine how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
And he, at that point, after that, he starts talking a bunch of shit to me, like, I can't even remember all of what he said, but,
He's
like, it was clear.
Dude, I can beat your high score on Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights any day. You want to step to me?
No, you're joking, but, like, that was seriously how stupid it was. Like, in his mind, there was, like, there was a competition for this person between he and I, which there wasn't. And, like, he won, and he had to, like, assert his dominance and ownership over this person. And it's like, dude, you had a one-night stand. Like, just, you don't own this person. I'm just chatting with somebody who I seem to get along with, and it would be an interesting friend. Like, I don't know what your fucking deal is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm remaining professional. Like, I'm not saying any of this to him. I'm just, okay, yeah, whatever, and going back to work. Because we're working. Hollowed ground. You want to settle this later? We'll settle it later. Right now, we're working. Do your fucking job.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I can remember him saying, and again, I should remind you, he's married.
Oof.
And, notification, loud noise. The only thing I distinctly remember him saying, and this is almost the exact way he said it, was like, yeah, don't go getting any ideas about, like, telling my wife about this, because, like, I've got permission when I'm on road shows. Which is like, well, first of all, I didn't need to know that about your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Or your relationship with your wife. Second, it's your marriage and your business. So, like, I'm not going to get involved anyway, because, like, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. It's not my business or my problem. Third, I've met your wife once in passing. I don't know her well enough, even if it was what it was, to say. And fourthly, why the fuck are you telling me this? Like, what do you have to prove?
Yeah.
So that,
Look, dude, don't
so,
go to
that
the employee locker. There might be some beads there, but they're completely, they're for jewelry. They're not anal beads, so don't ask. I know you're gonna ask, but don't ask.
Just sniff them first. That's how you know. So, that night rolls around, and it starts becoming a debate about, like, who's going to sleep in what bed. Because as it turns out, the other person does not want to share a bed with him again. I found out later that the whispering I heard was him whispering, like, shitty puns and jokes into their ear all night and keeping them up. Which, in my mind, I just immediately go, dude, some people are into, or, like, puns are cool. This person likes puns, but, like, dude, you just had sex. Act like you fucking been there. Jesus Christ. So they don't want to be in a bed, share a bed with them again. And rightly so, I can understand that. I found out way later that they actually wanted to share one with me because they did actually want to have a go, but that's whatever. It didn't happen because of the next reason. So he starts getting pissy that he's going to take the cot or share the bed with the other person, not the one that he slept with, but another person of the group. And he's just getting pissy and pissy. And the one that he slept with was like genuinely making a case in my defense of like he should have, I should get a bed tonight because I slept on the fucking concrete basically floor and I'm in a shitload of pain. And I took one for the team basically so you all could fuck and like I should get a bed. Okay, yeah, that's fair. And then he started getting pissy, so I'm like, you know what? I'm fucking done with this. I'm coming up on like 50 hours without sleep, and I'm hurting, and I'm just fucking done. I said, you know what? Y'all can figure this out. I'm laying in this bed. I'm going the fuck to sleep. Figure it out. And I lay down, and I'm out like that, and that's it. They ended up having to share a bed, and he tried to make moves. Didn't happen, and yeah. So the last day before we went back, he was super pissy. And like getting very, very aggressive in his possessiveness, like full-on caveman, and I'm just not having it. Not having it. And I'm not giving him the confrontation he wants either because, like, there's no competition here, dude. I don't know what your fucking deal is. So that very last night, and the other person is, like, talking to me more and, like, wanting to be around me and talking. Again, I found out later because they wanted some, but it's also, we just got along. And he's not liking it, but he apparently has started to take the hint that they don't want him anywhere near him. So that night, when we're getting dinner, before we're leaving, he's sitting at the end of the table, and he is sulking like a fucking teenager. Whatever image you have in your head of sulking like a teenager, that's exactly what he was doing. Even down to, like, whenever he would talk, it was always like, well,
it doesn't matter, we're all gonna die in the end anyway.
Exactly. I should mention he's older than me. Now, granted, I'm 25. I'm 25 now, but at the time, it was 2 years ago. So I was 23. So at the time, he was 24, 25. He was as old then as I am now. And it's like, how the fuck are you older than me and you're acting like this? What's up? What's wrong with it? And again, I didn't find out all the shit about the military and the history and the mental issue. I didn't find out about that until way after the fact. So at the time, I'm like, what the fuck is your deal? You just like this now?
Yeah.
And we're breaking up who's going to go home with who. And he was like, well, I'll take this person, the person that he's got a thing for. I'll take them home, and Sam can come with him. We'll drop him off. Oh, well, name drop my stuff. I don't give a fuck. And I'm sitting here going, now, they obviously don't want to be in a car with him. I don't want to be in a car with him either. Not that I'm afraid of him, but, like, if he tries to pull some shit, like, I can take him in a fight if we're out and about. But, like, if he's behind the wheel, I don't know what the fuck he's going to do. And I'm not cool with that. No. So it ends up being, and I come up with an alternative plan that actually has, like, logistical basis of being the least amount of driving for everybody. That resulted in him driving home by himself. Fucking Kino. He was not happy about that. So fast forward. You get the idea of what he's at. He loves us, and I found out again later that, like, this is a recurring issue of his. It was whenever he goes out on a roadshow, he tries to fuck anything with a pulse, and it's a recurring thing with his wife. And he doesn't have permission or whatever the fuck, and it was explicitly told to me that if she found out it had happened again, they were done. Now, right off the bat, the dude's already on, like, 1 foot solidly on my shit list. Didn't really do anything to me that bothered me. Like, okay, you peacocked and tried to, like, outman me or whatever the fuck. I don't care. Clearly you don't know what that fucking means anyway, because really it's just being confident in yourself and not being a fucking asshole to people, which is what it is. Apparently I'm better than that than you, even though I'm a fucking little scrawny, nerdy skeleton motherfucker. So what does that say about you? It's whatever. Doesn't bother me. What put him on my shit list was like, you're treating someone who is now a friend of mine this way. And what really put him in the, like, I'm not going to forgive you shit list was I found out later, at the exact same time all of this was going down, not in the same location, obviously, there was another friend from that same group, 2 of them actually, who were both very, very good friends and very dear to me, and I would kill a motherfucker for them. He was also 2-timing both of them on top of the third person who was at the show with us and his wife. And the amount of pain, like, just the amount of, like, emotional pain it caused the one, just solidly put him in my, like, okay, yeah, if you ever give me an excuse, I'll beat you into a stain on the fucking pavement. I don't care about the repercussions. So, like I said, in order for him to get off of the shit list or even begin to, he would have to be, take a good fucking look at himself and realize, okay, you've got some issues and fucked up ideas about what it means to be whatever in your head that you need to work through. He's not going to do that anytime soon. Ergo, he's not off the shit list. Apologies for taking
Right.
forever, but that is the condensed version of the story.
Wow.
Here's
Wowza.
Here's my story. One time a guy
Yeah.
said, "Hey, I don't like you," and then I went, "Well, fuck you," and then I said, "Ha ha, I punch," and then he went away.
I don't even know why I tell stories anymore. I can never compete with yours.
You know, I gotta say, like, I'm not gonna go off on anything because I've been feeling like I've been too negative lately and I don't want to be dwelling too much on stuff. But that is just uncool what that dude was doing. It's just not. He wasn't treating anybody well, not even himself in that scenario. He wasn't respecting his wife or you or anyone else involved. Like, it's just not a good way to be.
You know what he should respect? A fucking ditch in the ground, and he should respect it for like a good week or two. Anyway,
Wow.
damn, that was a meaty story. Let's blow through these questions so we can get to the fucking like injury stories already.
Fun shit.
All right. Next one. What is your favorite Wii game? Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Wii Sports, the golf one.
Really? Not the
I
baseball
don't really play a
one?
lot of Wii games. Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna be an easy answer, stereotypical bitch, and just say Brawl.
I really like.
Bowling is
Kirby's
also
Return-
fun.
Oh yeah, Wii Bowling is pretty fun. So is boxing, but I really like Kirby's Return to Dreamland and Epic Yarn. Like I'm a simple gamer. I like to play stuff that's like straightforward or fun, or is like slow paced enough, like JRPGs that I can like play it while
just
doing
chill,
other
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Like Wii Bowling was always my go-to. It's just really surprising that Stone's favorite wasn't the fucking baseball one. Like seriously, color me surprised.
Their
Oh, I
favorite
can't
Wii
believe
game is Wii Desert TV Smash.
I can't believe I didn't shout out No More Heroes, Suda51, absolute legend.
I was honestly expecting Drac to say like Mad World or something, but like,
Mad World's good too.
Yeah, I mean, Mad World wasn't bad. It was just like I'm thinking about like games that I played the most on the Wii.
For
In,
sure.
like its heyday, it was Smash Bros. Brawl and fucking bowling. I mean, mostly it was Brawl,
Yeah.
to be honest, because that's what everybody was fucking doing at the time.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Lots of good memories of playing that with
I
friends.
remember the first day. I remember the day I got Brawl. It was after all the delays. I fucking went to Best Buy with my dad. We got it. And then he had band practice the entire day, and my mom was doing something. So I went over to the person's house, and I set up the Wii there, and I started like unlocking all the characters, and it was a fucking blast. But all I remember from that day is that in the other room they were doing band practice, and I just heard my dad. He was doing a parody of the song that's like big city lights, or whatever the fuck that song is, and and the parody was big titties are nice. And I was like, all right, and it always stuck with me, and I don't know why, but yeah, no, Brawl is a great game. If I had to say a second game, I'd probably say Elebits, because like nobody knows what the fuck that is except Mr. Kirim, and that makes me
Played
happy, 'cause
Elebits,
that was a
it's
really
fun.
good. That was a really good game. Anyway, next one. When will episode 69 be uploaded? I don't know. 37. Go up to 69. What's the quick math? I'm bad at math. I don't know. Like 20-something episode. 30. Whatever. It'll be out when it's out. Fuck you. Well, who really was?
Episode 68 will be out. Episode 68. Episode 69 will be out after episode 68, but not before episode 70.
Correct. Who?
I would say June 23rd, 2022.
Wow.
You know what? I appreciate the commitment to the set date. Let's aim for that.
There you go.
right.
Now we have.
And let's all be back for it. It'll be fun.
All right. No, episode
Oh, there you
69 is
go.
going to be the episode where everybody who's ever guested on the podcast ever is going to be on. It's going to be a fucking clusterfuck mess.
Dude,
where
I'm so down for that though, honestly.
no one will be able to say anything because we're all going to be talking over each other at the exact same time. It's gonna be...
It'll turn into like one of those ASMR white noise crowd
It'll
videos.
it'll turn into an everybody's there sleepy cast. Let's fucking be real.
That'd be cool. All right. Who really was JFK? What the fuck do you? He's the guy who fought the zombies in Call of Duty, dude. Like,
Wait, is the question who really was JFK?
yeah.
Is that the Jesus Christ?
I love the idea that like it's
Okay, JFK was a secret sleeper agent.
Oh no.
God, I wish I could do fucking Psychic Pebble's voice for this because it's that level of stupid. But JFK was a sleeper agent from the year 187 BC, and what he did is he made the walls of a big city go down because he put all of the cats from the city had babies, and he like stuck their heads in the wall with paste, and then he fucked them until they died, and it made the wall fall down. And then he survived all this time because he had, kitten power on his dick, and he survived to become president. But then the descendant of one of the cats stayed alive all these years, carrying that vengeance, and shot him in the head. It was JFK. Jericho fucks kittens, and that's the story.
What the shit?
Alright, look, I'm gonna be honest, I wrote that question.
Oh, did
this
you?
summer. This summer, Rob Schneider is John F. Kennedy.
You motherfucker!
John F. Kennedy.
You can't write questions to your own podcast. That's cheating.
Okay, you know what? For writing questions to your own podcast, you have to do something for punishment. You've got to go get Reese's Pieces from your neighbor.
Oh no! Oh no!
I remember this.
Oh god.
He wasn't there for that, was he?
Stone,
No.
you
What
weren't
is that?
there. Brock, I don't think you were there, but it was one night where me, Drac, and Alex B were in a voice call in a server.
I was there, yeah.
Right,
It was
Brock
funny.
was there for a little bit of it, but then he had to go to bed.
No, I was there for the whole time of the story.
yeah,
at
you
least.
were. You were drawing. Okay, no, he was there. Never mind. So Stone, you weren't there. Where Drac was
Yeah.
just like, all right, Alex.
I'll have to send him the fucking text file of it when this is done.
Oh god.
Absolutely. Yeah, so basically they went on this long impromptu just like thing. He was like, all right, so you got to go to your neighbor's house and get Reese's Pieces. And Alex was like, okay, I'm here at the front door. All right, ring the doorbell. Okay, I'm here. And it just kept going like it went from like just getting Reese's Pieces to tearing off his dick skin, frying it, putting it on his face, and then shitting himself on the ground. And at one point, he had to run away from the neighbor. And so Drac was like, okay, so now get like shit your pants again, but like freeze it, and then throw it like a javelin at the person. And Alex goes, oh, sorry, I hit the kid across the street. Like, I threw it at the kid across the street. He's like, okay, that's fine.
What the?
That's fine. Try to throw it again. And then he's like, oh, I hit the kid's mom in the mouth and she's dead. And it's like, it came out of fucking nowhere. It was great. You had to have been there,
What
though.
the hell?
It was weird as fuck, but it was awesome.
Yeah, because it started out as a stupid thing. I don't even remember why it started, but it started as a stupid thing where I was just like, okay, I think I was just making a one-off joke where I was like, okay, first you gotta do this. And he was like, okay, I'm doing that. So I'm like, okay, we'll continue this for a minute. Okay, now you gotta do this. Okay, I've done that. Okay, now you gotta do this. And it literally wasn't me trying to like come up with anything wild. It was literally just whatever the first thought that came to my head was what I said. Doesn't matter how stupid it sounded, I just went and said it. And there were a couple times he threw me for a loop. He threw me for a loop with his answer, and I was just like, shit, I gotta come up with something. This.
Alex,
And it just got so fucking stupid.
if Alex wasn't the type of person that he was, that moment would not have been as funny as it was. It was fucking incredible.
Yeah, it literally just became a thing of like responding immediately with the first thought that comes to your head, and it just got increasingly more ridiculous. And it literally, I think it just kind of became like an unspoken game of like who's gonna crack and stop first.
And I was the one who cracked first.
Oh my god, you laughed so hard I thought you were gonna throw up.
That was still not
That's
the hardest
pretty
I've
funny.
ever. That was still not the hardest I've ever laughed though.
We actually discussed that on episode 36.
Which will be out soon, hopefully. To date the episode, we're recording this before it goes up. Anyway, what's your favorite part about summer?
When it ends, because I hate the heat.
I was gonna say, whoever wrote this, they realize we live in Phoenix, Arizona, right? So when it ends,
Well,
I mean,
as
seriously.
the person in Canada, I'm gonna say swimsuit season.
hey, there you go.
That's fair. I like swimming during the summer. It's nice. Except my pool is in shambles now, so can't fucking do anything but in that green swamp water. Anyway. what other hobby do you enjoy? So I assume they mean, like, besides me drawing, Stone playing drums, Drac, I don't know, like, you do game stuff, and also, like, make medieval weapons. And Brock, you do, like, drawing and, like, voice acting and cooking and cleaning and
cosplay and
and
conventions
shaving the
and-
neighbor's dog. Like, you do everything. So, like, what are other things that you like to do as hobbies?
I like
really
reading.
Oh, sure, you go first.
Yes, Stone
Alright.
goes first.
I try to read every night.
Fucking
See,
nerd.
just fucking lady. Well, it's not just playing drums, but it's just reading lyrics from all sorts of different bands, and reading just like the most random facts that if it ever comes up in a conversation, I know exactly what it is, and I couldn't even give you an example. But I also enjoy going to the batting cages, but I haven't done that recently. But that's pretty much it. Or listening to music, collecting records. Got nothing too exciting.